Hi, I'm Beth, yoga teacher and psychologist. And today I'm seated near my own work from home desk to bring you a desk or chair yoga practice. So many of us are working from home right now, and although that gives us some flexibility to exercise during the day, you may not want to flip out the yoga mat, come down to the floor. Maybe you just need a bit of a pause during your day. So that's what today's practice will hopefully help to give you, a brief pause so that you can stretch and get in some yoga. And in particular, I'm going to focus on the upper body, the neck, the shoulders, a little bit the upper back, parts that tend to get tight when we're hunched over a computer all day. There are many YouTube practices for this area, many yoga desk practices, many that focus on the neck and shoulders. One of the things that I'm going to try to do that might be a little different is to try to work all of those muscles, all of those parts together, so a more integrated practice rather than a lot of isolated stretches, which are also good. But we're just going to try to concentrate everything together, since the neck, the shoulders, the upper back, even all the way down to the mid-lower back, everything is connected. So to start, scooch to the edge of your chair so that your back can be tall and upright. Bring your elbows in down toward your waist, hands out to the side, and we'll begin by coordinating some breath with movement. So breathing with your movement, you can breathe in or out, whatever makes sense to you. I'm going to bring in as I start to raise my arms, elbows stay bent overhead, fingertips may touch, and exhale, come back down. Do this a few times, again, breathing with the movement. It might be inhale up, exhale down. Don't be so concerned about what it looks like. That doesn't really matter. What we're looking for is some sense of our shoulders starting to be mobile. And see if as you reach up overhead, you can feel your shoulder blades move out to the sides and up. You can even try doing that one-armed. Get a little bit of a sense of that movement. Some mobility in the shoulder blades. And then reach out in front of you. Again, you can keep the elbows slightly bent. This time, draw back with the shoulder blades as your elbows go. You might be poking somebody behind you. And then reach forward. Again, still moving with breath. So you may want to inhale as you reach forward. Exhale as you reach back, or maybe the opposite breath pattern feels good. Exhale forward, inhale back, and you'll notice I just move my upper back into it a little bit more by curving my back into a little bit of a shape. You can do that or not, whatever feels good. Simply drawing the shoulder blades together as you come back, and then pulling them apart, protracting, retracting. All right, one more little move like that for the shoulders. This time arms will go out by the sides in a little cactus or goalpost position. And then as if you're kind of putting the hands down in water, like making a little splash. You do this, right? Now you'll feel that rotational move of the elbows or the shoulders. So the elbows actually are staying in one spot. And if you like, then you can see if you can take that move back. So keeping the fingers pointed directly up, keeping the elbows in place and moving the backs of the hands backwards. You'll probably have less range of motion in this direction. That's perfectly fine. Okay, release the arms. I already feel some blood rushing into my shoulders, a little bit more energy there. Take a moment to breathe and notice what you feel. So next, just shrug the shoulders up and down a few times, getting a little bit more blood and energy in that area. And again, this is a great place to observe. And you'll notice I just naturally started circling. I tend to like to circle back to oppose that frontward facing hunch movement. But if front facing circles feel good to you, you might even do a little shoulder dance, whatever feels good. Part of yoga is really the importance of listening to your body. So now take some moves for the neck. We'll start with some rotational movement, and I'll be mirroring you. So turn and look over your left shoulder and make a note of where is the furthest spot that you can naturally see. Don't push or strain, just notice where your neck naturally goes to. And then in the other direction, so your right side, pick a spot on this side, a little marker, noticing where you go to. back through center. And then we'll stay on the one side. So I'll stay on the side I started with, which would be your left. Take your left hand, place it right on the top of your head. Elbow points out to the side, and you can see there's a little triangle here. We're going to turn the head again to the left, this time leading with the elbow. Chin stays centered in the chest. So turn. See, I want to turn my head, but I'm going to try to keep my head straight with my chest and really move my elbow back. And you can go back and forth like this a few times. And then we'll stay on this same side, same arm, reach the bicep closer to your cheek and the hand around the opposite behind the ear. So taking my hand a little bit behind the right ear. And then I'll turn a few times this way. So same thing, trying to lead with the elbow. And then this time as you go to the side, you might take a few nods of the head up and down. See how that motion feels. Come back through center, a few nods in center. And you can also take this move into an arc. So reaching the elbow up and over the side, like a little rainbow shape. You can change that rainbow into a smile. So elbow down into the side. And at some point, stop, draw your head back through center, and release. Last move on this same side. So this time our bicep is going to come toward the cheek before, but the arm is going to cross in front of the head. Can't see my lips that way. In front of the head, holding again behind the opposite ear. And when you turn your head in that same left direction, use a gentle pull, not a force, on your hand to turn your head. So don't let the head do the work. Let your arm do the work, turning your head. And go to wherever feels like your natural limit. Whenever you get there, release the hand. Notice whether you're further than you went initially, and maybe even if you have a little bit more space to go into. And back through center. So we did that all on your left side. We'll do the right. You can shrug your shoulders in the middle, whatever feels good. Maybe you notice some difference on the side that you worked as opposed to the other side. Let's just take a turn to either side to start with like we did the first time. So look over your right shoulder. We haven't worked this side, so wherever you went furthest before is probably about the same. Over your left, the side we did work, and you might notice some more mobility on that side. Back through center, and then we'll do that same little series. So first, hand on the top of your head, forming that triangle. Chin stays centered in the chest. Move with the elbow. Begin to turn right. And come back and forth a few times in this direction. See if you can feel that it's not just your head, your neck moving. You can feel that into your shoulder blades, your upper back, again, maybe even further down your back. Slide this arm so that the bicep comes closer to your cheek and you reach behind the opposite ear. And then using your arm, again, turn a few times. And same thing, notice the whole integration of all the muscles in your upper back. So it's more than just your neck and shoulder moving, more than just your arm moving. Your arm is connected. All the muscles of your arm connect as well. And then you might want to take a little bit of a nod. Yes, on this side. Back through center. Nod in the center. And if one side is bothering you more, you can always spend more time on that side. Let's start with a smile first on this side, making that arc shape a few times. And then I'll come up into the rainbow. All right, then last thing on this side, same arm is going to go in front of my face, reach behind the ear. And remember, this time I'm going to use that hand on my ear, the hand on my head, to gently pull the head, same direction, I'm really using the power of the arm to move the head, very little energy with the neck itself. When I get to what feels like my limit, I release the arm, see if I'm any further than before, maybe I have a little more space there, and then come back through center. Great, and you can take a few simple turns side to side if you want to loosen anything up. So that was a rotational move for the neck. Our last neck move will be a lateral move, and again, we'll add a little bit to it to increase the stretch, or really to incorporate more parts into the stretch. So take your left ear toward your left shoulder to allow the ear to come to shoulder, whatever feels natural here. And same thing over the right. And then back to the first side. Reach the opposite arm away from you. And see if any movement feels good. So it might be a little wiggling of the fingers, might be a little bit of circling or rotating of the shoulders. Maybe just kind of swishing the arm around a little bit. And you can feel that move all the way up into the neck, even though it's the arm that you're moving. Back through center, right ear to right shoulder, left arm reaches out. Find the movement. Now I'm just rotating the arm in the socket a little bit. That feels nice on the shoulder, but again, I can feel it up into my neck. I can wiggle it around. I can just reach and wiggle the fingers. Back through center. One more move this way for the neck. This time take your right arm behind your back so that the palm goes away. Take your left arm, interlace the fingers, and then instead of pointing your left elbow out to the side, tuck it back away from you so that the two shoulder blades draw together. And then same side, left ear toward left shoulder. As you do this, just notice what finger or what thumb is on top of your interlaced hands, because we're going to switch that on the other side. Always breathing. So if you lost track of your breath, bring yourself back to it. Raise the head, let go of the arms. So left arm, palm faces away, bends at the elbow, right arm interlaces, and then make sure you interlace the different finger, different thumb on top. That's why I asked you to keep track. You might have to switch it. It's going to be the weird way. That elbow, instead of out to the side, it draws back, shoulder blades draw back together, and then right ear toward right shoulder. And this doesn't have to be still. You can do the little bit of the nod as we did in some of the other positions if that feels good. I'm just going to hold here for another breath. And then exhale, draw the head up, release the arms. All right, so we'll do just a few more stretches. The next one I've seen by different names. Sometimes it's called the Egyptian. One yoga person, Jill Miller, calls it a light bulb stretch. I think she calls it screwing in light bulbs. Your arms reach out to your side. I'm trying to check, see how much room I have here. And the elbows stay slightly bent. I'm going to mirror you for this, but if the mirroring gets too confusing, you don't have to mirror. So take your right hand and twist the hand as if you're screwing in a light bulb, taking your shoulder blade forward. And then your opposite hand, your left, the palm is going to come up, turning it back. And then you'll switch them. So you can see why this is sometimes called the Egyptian. And then keep switching. So if it helps you, that imagery of screwing in light bulbs with each hand or with one hand, you can use that. If you're an 80s child like me, it helps you to think about the Bengals Walk Like an Egyptian video. You can do that. So you can speed this up, you can slow it down, and feel free to get more of your body into it. So you can lean forward when you dip the shoulder forward, if that feels good. Again, notice how this is an integrated stretch. You'll probably feel it in your shoulders, but maybe also in your upper back, your shoulder blades, your neck. It looks really silly, but it can feel really nice. A few more on each side. And looking silly is fine because there's no particular way this was a look. Your arms might be more bent as you do this. They might be more straight. Whatever feels right with your body. All right, slowly allow your arms to float down. Brief check-in of your breath. And then we'll finish with a self-hug and a pat on the back. So first, the self-hug. Cross the left arm over the right. Give yourself a little hug, and you can scooch that further. Maybe you're not getting a lot of hugs in this isolation. Your own hand on your body can feel really nice and very self-nurturing. Open your arms and hug the other way, so your right arm on top. Little self-hug, appreciating the efforts that you're putting in. And then for the pat on the back, take your left hand, palm face front, place it at the base of your neck or wherever you can comfortably reach. That's your little pat on the back. You can pat yourself on the back here, little chest, a little stretch into your triceps. And if you'd like, the opposite arm can come across top. And encourage that stretch a little more. And then finally with the right hand, little pat on the back, behind your neck. You can add the other hand if you want. You don't have to. Remember that this is a self-compassionate, encouraging stretch. It doesn't have to be your deepest tricep stretch ever. And release. 1 or 2 last check-in breaths, getting a sense of where you are now. You could again do a little kind of shoulder shrug, release, soften, neck turn side to side, see how that feels. So I hope that this practice was helpful in giving you a little bit of a pause, a little bit of a release, a little bit more freedom and mobility to your neck, your shoulders, and your upper back. Thanks so much for joining me. Have a great day.